Hey, let's talk about how to get fat snare tone in your worship mixes. So this is what it sounds like with all the processing in the full mix. Solo the drums. Mute those reverbs. Sounds awesome. Okay, so let's turn off all these plugins, and I'm going to start from scratch here and just kind of move these all down. And so let's start with snare top. So this was a Ludwig Black Beauty. It was tuned very well. It sounded great in the room. And that's always step one. It was mic'd up with a pair of Shure 545s, one on top, one on bottom. And let's see what we got here. So this is what snare top sounds like all by itself. Okay, and I should mention as we do this, there is some processing going on the overall drum bus. So I'm doing a little bit of saturation, EQ compression with the Omni channel here. And then I have a parallel bus going out to this one here with some API 2500 parallel compression. So that will be in, and I can do some A/Bing with that towards the end here. But let's just focus on the individual channel first. So I'm going to pull up an SSL channel plugin. Let's go ahead and take a listen to the raw snare top sound and get some EQ going on this SSL plugin. Here we go. Okay. Not bad. Sounds good, but there's some things we can work on. So first of all, I hear some whoa kind of low mid cardboard boxiness that we can tame. So I'm gonna push my band up and let's see if we can find that. Go wider Q. Yeah, I think that's where we get the most of it. So let's start over again. Yeah, let's pull some of that down. There we go. Already the drum sounds a lot better. I think we're getting some something in the mids too, maybe 800 to 1,000. Let's see if we can find that. Yeah, just a little bit of paperiness there. Yeah. Cool. I want to boost a little bit of low end, so I'm going to put the bell curve on. Let's go like 120 so we can get some more fullness out of that 545. Not a lot. We just want a couple dB here. Little does it. And then finally, I always like adding a little bit of air, so I'm going to go down 6K. Yeah, isn't that nice? We really get like the sizzle and the attack of that snare in. Okay, so let's go to snare bottom. And let's go ahead and see how this sounds. So one of the things that for the longest time, I thought snare bottom was like we high pass it at 300 hertz and it's just for the rattle of the snare wires to get in. And that could not be further from the truth. The snare bottom is one of the key factors in getting this snare tone. I'm actually going to boost some 120 here so we can really get some low end gushiness with that snare bottom going on. So let's see how this sounds. Once again, I'm not doing too much. I'm not going to over exaggerate. Okay, and then there's some low mids as well. So I'm going to pull the Q up. Right about 500 is where I feel like most of that is. And again, I'm not going to make this unnatural. Just going like 6 dB, 7 dB. Don't be afraid of EQ, but don't use too much. And then there's probably some, I think I was hearing some 800 hertz, 1000 hertz kind of honkiness. Let's see. Yeah. Let's pull that down. Cool. And I'm liking the high end with this. I'm not going to add any high end. I might pull our high pass in just a little bit. Okay. I'm going to go back to snare top. And let's solo that, and let's add a gate on this SSL as well. So I'm not going to gate. I usually don't gate the snare bottom because I want the reaction of those snare wires underneath the whole drum kit for ghost notes. And even when the drummer's playing the toms, I really think that adds to the drum sound. So let's pull in. Let's go fast release on this because drums have really quick, loud transients. So we don't really need the release time on a gate to be too loud or too high, that is. So let's pull the range up. There we go. We're not cutting everything out, but we're really, really tightening up that mic. Okay. And so next, let's go ahead and listen to these two together with just EQ and gate. That's all we did. I should mention also that I'm going to flip the polarity on this bottom mic because we have two mics pointed like this, opposite directions to each other, kind of pointing down at each other. So we want to flip the polarity of this one because if we had looked at the waveforms, they'd be going and crisscrossing each other like this and would be canceling each other out. So if I play the mics together without flipping the polarity, this is what it sounds like. Still sounds like a snare drum, but there's just not the low end that there could be. So if we do this, hear how that's immediately way fuller without. Yeah, there we go. Feel that? It's subtle because these mics were placed well. So they're in line with each other, but still we want to make sure our mics are perfectly in phase. And this is the way, at least in this scenario, that I've found that it sounds best to do. So let's pull in a compressor. I like the API 2500. I'm just going to mirror it on both of these channels. And I love doing presets for a lot of this stuff. So I find the snare preset on this plugin sounds awesome. So let's go snare and let's see where that's getting us on just the snare top. Probably a little too smacky. So let's pull the threshold down. Maybe like 5 dB of reduction. That should be good. 5, 6. Okay, let's go to the bottom. And let's pull that preset in. Once again. I'm actually going to make the release time on this one a little longer so that compressor can hold on to that transient a little longer so we can have some more snare buzz underneath the rest of the sound. And I'm liking that. So let's play these two together. Oh! Woo! Sounds massive. And I don't know if I mentioned this already, but I do have the Sheps omni-channel bus, drum bus, a little bit of saturation, compression going on here, and I have a parallel bus that the snares are getting sent to, which is drum smash, and I'll show you those in just a second. So here's with all the drums. Oh. That sounds awesome. Okay, here's with no plugins on the snare. And then here's with plugins on the snare. Woo! And then I'll go ahead and pull off this. This is what this drum bus is doing. And here's back in. And then our parallel chain is going, so we're sending snare top, snare bottom, and then the two kick drum mics to this drum smash here, and it's going right here to another API 2500 where we have just this drum kit heavy compression preset, and it sounds super awesome. This is what it sounds like with it. And without. It's a subtle difference, but it really helps that snare and those kicks punch. Yeah. Cool. Let's bring in those reverbs and the rest of the mix. And there it is. I hope this video helps you. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions or have anything else you want to see me talk about, mixing, Pro Tools, audio related, comment, send me a message. Let's talk about it. Hope you guys enjoyed. Have a great one.